happening, everybody? I am the Bald Kid Nostalgic, and this is SlickBlast RapCast. I have a special guest this evening, Bobbito Ross, and he's a talented artist from New York, and he'll be on in a few. Matter of fact, there he is, Bobbito Ross. All right, wasting no time, and we're in like clockwork. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for chiming in and for all the future people that are going to be on. We appreciate you. Okay? So, in a couple seconds, his mug should pop up and then we'll get this convo going. Pretty hyped. Two Boriquas. It's been a long time we do that, so it's always a beautiful thing. Sandra, shout out to you. Hope your mom is always is doing well, good health. I'm gonna send this brother an invite because it looks like I believe he sent one. Oh, okay, cool. All right, there he is.
Good?
What's up, brother?
Chill, brother. I'm good. How's everything? You can hear me good?
Yeah, let me raise up mine and then we'll be good. I can hear you clearly. I think my volume, okay, I can hear you loud and clear now.
We good? We good?
Yeah, we good, man.
How's your day, brother? How's everything?
Everything's good, brother. We're above ground and we're both alive. So
That's a blessing, baby. You know what I mean? We born another day, see another light another day, hold our family another day. That's all blessings. You know what I mean?
that's right. That's right. So let's introduce Bobbito Ross. He's a dope artist, and that's the beauty of Instagram, man. I've only been on Instagram for I'd say 5 years probably, and
Okay.
and I've met a lot of cool people through this beautiful just the networking. You know what I mean? So it's cool when you see artists from another area, another coast, whether it's the UK or the States, and you admire their work, and then obviously you're hip hop influenced, so and you could see it with your work. So first and foremost, I want to welcome you on SlickBlast RapCast. Welcome, my brother.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know what I
Abs
mean?
yeah, absolutely. And then fellow Boricua as well. That's special because it's always nice to have a fellow Puerto Rican.
Camaraderie. Yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah, man. You know, it's like a family thing. We've had conversations off air, which have always been good, and I'm
Yes.
glad we made it happen. So thank you again,
Nah, thank you. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate it.
for
You know what
sure.
I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm gonna give you your flowers physically now, like I do with everybody else. So I'm gonna give you your flowers. There they are, my brother. Virtual.
Gracias. Todo. Gracias.
You got it. You got it. Hey, so we have a buddy. We have an IG buddy. Before we get started, we have an IG friend in Germany. Ali
Okay.
Go
Oh,
Nuts.
yeah, Ali's the homie. That's the homie.
Yeah. He's the homie as well, of course, through this. So it's cool.
Yeah, he's actually been one of my supporters since like the very beginning. So Ali is real great human being. So it's kind of like 360 how we all know each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a small virtual world, bro. Literally, it's a small
Yes,
world.
very
So
small
yeah,
one.
so he saw that we were going on live tonight. He was hyped about it. He said he's working. Remember, he's in the future. He's in Germany. He's in the future.
Yes,
So
yes.
he's in the future, and he's like, "Oh, bro, that's my guy." I'm like, "Yeah, he's a good dude. We're gonna chop it up tonight." He's like, "I'm working night shift, so I'll catch a little bit." And I told him, "Whatever's archived, he could check tomorrow." So that's cool. You know, that's cool.
Yeah, I'll repost the replay and everything, and I put it on my YouTube as well, so everybody can catch all the read we were talking right now. So it's all good. But I appreciate the love from Ali. Real dope human being. You know what I mean?
Definitely, definitely. All right, my brother. So this is the fun part for me. I like to dive into everybody's brain and history. So I want to do that with you because right now this is about you. And I want to know, let's go in the DeLorean, as I like to say. Let's go
Yeah.
all the way back. All right.
Okay. Okay.
So I want to know the foundation of Bobbito Ross and how you came to fruition. And do you remember your first sketch painting that you drew as a kid? Can we go back to the beginning in the foundation of where it all started?
Yeah, we going back then to 1975. I was born in 1975 in Jamaica, Queens, New York.
God bless.
I'm actually still there right now in Queens. The foundation actually started with family first. You know, my father's from Puerto Rico. He was born in Puerto Rico, came out here. His family came out to the States. Bushwick, Brooklyn first. And then my mom, her family was in Manhattan. So they both, met in Queens. So that's where I was basically put together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, living in New York City, the beginning of my art started with cartoons, Saturday morning cartoons and everything on that level. And then from there, I used to live literally right across, like maybe 10 feet away from the train station. So my first introduction to another high level of art was graffiti. So that's what actually
Mm.
started. So graffiti was another form of art for me because I always looked at how these young boys and girls, these young brothers and sisters, painting on top of these trains and doing all this other crazy shit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Now back to like my first piece. I have it actually, I think on my page. You can scroll up and I'll actually send it to you one day. A picture I did for my mother. You know what I'm saying? I did her
Ooh.
name. I found that in the archives. Mom still had it. So that went back to like 1985. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So I got into graffiti back when I was, 5, 6 years old. And then from there, cartoons and everything, Saturday morning cartoons, and implementing those two worlds together. It's
Yes.
like most artists, hip hop artists as well, or many other artists that like different genre of music, and we kind of got like some type of influence from cartoons. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
comic books and everything. So for me, that was part of the how would I say, the intersection between that world and also the graffiti world. But that's like the beginning, I would say. You know what I'm saying? For me, that's where it all initially rooted from. That's where the actual stems come from, the beginning of the tree. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
That's beautiful, man, because again, the era that we grew up in, we're close. We're in the team photo of the era together. So, seeing cartoons and sitcoms and just
Yes.
stuff from the 80s, very important
Yes.
to us growing up. And I think that resonates with our influence, right? As we
Yeah.
are now.
Yes. 80s definitely resonated. A lot of, TV shows, a lot of movies. They were classics, you know what I'm saying? This is before technology. So this is before, everything we're even doing right now. So like
Yep.
anything in life, we had the basic means, but we had to stretch out the means to go to its maximum.
Yep.
So from the childhood we grew up in, the main thing we had to have was called imagination. And our imagination is what made our creation. And our imagination has made you do what you're doing there and made me doing what I'm doing here so we can bring that bridge together. So that's
Right.
something from our era I can remember that we had was imagination. And that keeps me doing what I'm doing now, man. And the main thing I tell people is do not lose the child in you. You know what I'm saying? Keep the child in you. You know what I'm saying? That
Yes.
makes you want to live the dream and not even just live the dream, keep you young. I'm about to be 46 in a couple of more weeks. You know what I'm saying? So
God
the
bless.
main thing is, thank you. The main thing is, stay true to yourself. But that's like the beginning foundations of everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's crazy. That's another thing, man. Like as Latinos, I think we're blessed with good genes because if we take care of ourselves good enough,
Yes.
internally
Yes.
and externally, I think that the youth stays somehow, some way. A couple white hairs here and there, it's okay, but still,
Oh, good.
yeah. You said importantly the kid in us, and I think that's what keeps us alive and happy, right? That keeps us alive
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
happy. So
Yeah. The kid part of us is keeps us actually staying grounded and rooted and keeping everything authentic and, genuine. And then once you keep that whole, it's going to resonate to everybody who knows you from that era. And then people that are from this era now going forward, the young generation, because you got to pass the torch to somebody. You
yes,
know what I'm saying? So as long as you, keep the respect within yourself and you give it out, people are going to see that automatically. You know what I'm saying? So, the main thing is don't lose that child spirit, man. I always tell people that. And our generation, it hasn't been lost. That's why we're still doing what we're doing right now. You know what I mean?
well said, Bobbito, well said. And I wanted to share this with you because my mom made sure I said it. So shout out to my OG, my mom, Elba.
Yeah.
So she grew up in Puerto Rico. Um,
Okay.
I had, let me see, one, two, three, a total of six between uncle and one uncle, no, two uncles and four aunts. A big
Okay.
family. Yo Piedra in Puerto Rico, that's the pueblo.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my mom, my uncle, God rest his soul, and my aunts, they would play with Roberto Clemente's kids. They knew Roberto Clemente's kids
Okay. Okay.
because of,
Cool.
yeah. So that's why when I posted the story of that T-shirt, it gave me, it just gave me a connection. It was a dope shirt, of course, but in your eyes and your arts of Roberto Clemente, the legend, one of the illest arms of all time, by the way, in baseball history. That guy,
Yes.
he had a
Cannon. Yes.
cannon. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, speaking the same language, cannon for an arm.
Yeah.
So my mom, it was important for me to bring that up to you because she was like, you gotta tell him, you gotta tell him. I said, Ma, I got it, I'll tell him for sure. So
Nah, tell your mother, thank you. From as a kid growing up, you know, from my dad being my first superhero, you know what I'm saying?
I like that.
The next superhero growing up was Clemente. You know what I'm saying? He represented, you know, what Puerto Rico was in its actuality, and also him being a humanitarian. Not only a great baseball player, but also a great person for people, and
Yes.
also people of color. You know, that's why, you know, Africa's behind Clemente to signify the blackness and our true African heritage.
Right.
So that's also bridging the gap of a lot of miscommunication that when you come to this country, a lot of Latinos or, you know, us being Boricuas in general tend to forget that and lose that. Don't think we're black. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
my main thing is that's more of a conversation piece that's very strong with limited amount of words. So no matter where you see that, it's going to resonate longer and more in depth after this conversation because it's something that's going to keep growing and growing and growing. You know what I'm saying? So I thank your mom. Tell her saludo. Gracias por todo. You know what I mean? Tell her, thank you.
Definitely, she appreciates it for sure. And well said, because it's important to know your heritage and where you came from and the foundation, as we've been talking about.
Yeah.
It's very important because there's kids now that are Latino and they don't know a lick of Spanish because they're not, maybe they're not taught, or maybe they're not just shown that side. It's more Americanized. And we're not getting political. It's more of a like maybe us as children, we knew Spanish and English because it was implemented in our childhood, you know, growing up. So it's definitely important to, like you said, spread that to the next generation as far as your roots and knowing where you came from, you know. So
the main thing also too, you got to teach the younger generation as well, because think about it, like if we don't teach them, and you know, the Puerto Ricans who are here become so Americanized, eventually are they really going to be Puerto Rican?
Right. That's
like,
a good.
You can wave the flag all you want every June.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's if you don't know the language, which the language links you to the culture, and then the culture links you to the tradition.
Yes.
There's going to be a big separation. So the main thing, even for myself, learning more Spanish growing up, because you pick it up here and there.
Yeah.
But most people don't want to learn. That's the key thing. You know what I mean? We live in a very simple, you know, believe it, take it as it is, way of mentality nowadays. So, you know, a lot of things is great if you actually pick up a book. You know what I'm saying? So that's the main thing, you know. But
yeah,
language is key because it keeps you connected to your culture and your people. Once you lose that, then what are you really then? You know what I'm saying?
All is lost if you all is lost, I think. And
yeah.
You know, the kids stick to their iPads and they start, and I'm like, you know, put the iPad down, get a book, get an actual book with paper and read it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Feel it. It feels a lot different. Not money, but it feels like
yeah.
It is mental money. It is mental money.
Yes, it is.
You know what I'm saying? At the same time is you got, you know, and if you do have an iPad, you know, you don't want to pick up a book or iPhone, there's stuff that you can read online.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if you're going to use that technology, use the technology to help you to increase your level of understanding and knowledge. Do not let it dumb you down. Because I can tell people, this little screen we're on right now becomes your cell. That's why it's called a cell. So break out that cell, you know what I'm saying, and actually really live instead of existing in a moment in time. You know what I mean?
Yep. Well, hey, well said. Bobbito Ross, he's kicking knowledge early in the show, and it's a beautiful thing. All right, my brother. So I'm gonna now let's nerd out a little bit because you're talking about the kid in you. We're Toys R Us kids, and we're always gonna be Toys R Us kids. Right now, are you more on the Marvel side or on the DC side as far as movies? Right now, as far as movies go, or do you like them both equally?
I mean, for me, I'll be honest, you know, Marvel, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Marvel, I mean, I think Marvel because of technology. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about when we grew up, we had Batman on TV, you know what I'm saying? We had Superman on, movies as well. So, you had a mixture of both. But I think what it is technology has helped Marvel and helped a lot of superhero come to life. So, DC will catch up too. It's all about them creating and them actually putting stuff out there. So Marvel's just kicking ass right now because that's just Marvel. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's just Marvel. You know what I'm saying? But they, for me, Marvel. I call myself, one of like your friendly neighborhood Borinquin. I got that from Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? So it's just influencing and implementing that. But they both are Marvel all day. You know what I'm saying? Marvel
all right. I like the answer. I'm gonna go with Marvel as well, even though Batman is probably my greatest superhero of all time. But it's tough because Marvel got heat. Marvel has they have legends left and right. So yeah, it's always tough. But definitely Marvel is leading the league, if you will.
Yes.
For sure. And all right, let me ask you about your hip hop influences because I pay attention to detail, and obviously people that I have on the show, I do my research, my homework, and you're a big fan of Wu-Tang, it looks like. Are you a big Wu-Tang? Yeah. You see? Look at that segue. Look at how beautiful that segue was. Woo! I love it.
I mean, Wu was big for us, like in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Wu kept, because hip hop had its transitions of being conscious and then getting into gangster music or getting into something like negative or whatever. But when Wu came, Wu dropped a lot of knowledge itself. You know what I'm saying? And not just Wu, you had, Poor Righteous Teachers, Wise Intelligence. You know what I mean? So you had so many other artists as well. But Wu, as an they came as a storm. Like, it was not only this one brother, it was like 9 brothers deep that dropped knowledge, and they hit you in every angle. But that was, we continue. That's just a good segue. You know what I mean? Just to let you know.
No, I love it. And how about a Tribe Called Quest? I know you're a big fan of them as well.
Oh, the Tribe, man, from Queens. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the Tribe was heavy. Midnight Marauders. You know what I'm saying? That time, I won't even call it a golden era because everybody gets caught in that era. It was just great music, man. It's music that just lasts eternally. That's when you know it's great music. No matter when you put that album on, you can listen to it from front to back, even the skits. And then the great part is you can actually open up the cassette or the CD and read everything.
Man.
You know what I mean? So that's the jewel. That's the jewelry right there. The jewelry was not just the music. The jewelry is that they package everything dope. You know what I'm saying? They actually learn branding and marketing, which is kind of lost nowadays. Everything is slap. It's thrown on SoundCloud. It's thrown on Bandcamp. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
We might do a T-shirt if you buy the shit or not. You know what I'm saying? But, CDs and cassettes and mainly vinyl, because I've started recollecting vinyl again. That's jewels right there. You know what I'm saying? Going back to the analog sound before everything became so digital, which is like kind of too perfect, but it doesn't have that soul. You know what I mean? The soul is missing.
You're right. But you're right about that.
The Tribe is the Tribe, man. You can't, if you don't know hip hop, if you know hip hop and you don't know the Tribe, I don't know what you've been doing.
Then, you've been hiding in that rock for a long time. Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it is what it is. Some win, some understand, some lose. Everybody to each his own. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And again, the physicality of vinyl cassettes and all those great things, the joy, right? Like you said, it's like a kid on Christmas. Physically opening it and you earning it, going to the store and saying, okay, I earned this tape and cassette. I enjoy it. So that's why I still kind of order CDs too, still, because it kind of takes me back to that 90s essence and keeps me like leveled, if that makes any sense,
I order 2 CDs sometimes from an artist, so I keep one that I open up and the other one I keep sealed. You know what I'm saying? I try to get that one to sign it so I can keep it for something like, it's a part of my time, it's a part of their time, because I appreciate their creativity, their time and patience. It's not easy to put an album together. Most people think it is. It's not. You know what I'm saying? If you want a dope album from front to back, but times have changed. You know what I mean? Everybody pumps out 12 albums in like 6 months. So but yes, two sometimes connect 2 CDs, keep one, and actually play one. That's the jewel of it. Some know, you get what I mean. You know what I mean? You're not that, so you understand. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And again, man, speaking of Wu-Tang, my wife and I were watching the series on Hulu, season 2, and it's been, let me tell you, bro, it's been great.
I haven't seen it yet, B.
So I will not spoil it, and I'm glad you said that. all I
I
was,
haven't seen it yet. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you this, and you'll figure it out. The guy who
Okay.
plays the kid who plays the RZA, young kid, he's been in some movies. He did the RZA's voice really well. He orchestrated the RZA's voice and brought it to life.
Okay.
He did it very well. And then the kid that plays Old Dirty Bastard, I'll say that he steals the show, bro.
Okay. Okay.
Because it's almost eerie and freaky to see a young kid that's in his 20s, 21, 22, playing the Old Dirty Bastard,
Gotcha.
and then kind of mimicking it perfectly. But once you start watching it, you're gonna be like, okay, I know what Nas was talking about. Yeah, I know what he was
I
talking
got
about.
you. I got you.
Yeah, man. But let me ask you this, man. Have you ever thought about again, your shirts are dope, and then the buttons and the pins and the hats and the all the merch. Obviously, it's fire. Um, have you ever thought about doing comic books, like a comic book type of thing, where your art, like your own comic book? You ever thought about that?
Yeah, I mean that's stuff that's coming. You know what I'm saying? Everything drops in segments. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like us being who we are, growing up in New York City and just growing up in any type of urban community, you have very limited, tools. So when you're given tools, you take those tools and you stretch the shit out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a 75, baby. There's a lot of things in here that still got to come out. And comic books was key, you know what I mean? And eventually do an actual comic book, that you can actually buy the book. Not,
Yes.
not, take, not taking anything away from digital comics, which is cool. But at the same time, when you get to hold something and,
Yeah.
look at it, it's something that resonates and it feels different. It has a soul to it. You know what I'm saying?
It does.
Something digital, like anything digital for me, sometimes loses a soul. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You put your soul into it, but when you have like the paper, the ink, and that person took time to find, the illustrator, the person who's doing the marketing, the person who's putting all the wording together, that should take some time. You know what I'm saying? So to your question, yes. When is it going to come out? I can't say exactly. But as long as I wake up every day with breath in my lungs, you will see that eventually. You know what I'm saying?
I
And I
love
will
it.
collaborate with other artists as well that are coming up to make sure, we can build minus an ego. So any young artists that ever want to get down and collaborate, by all means, just hit me up. We could talk about it and get this in the works. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And obviously, if I find somebody too that's on IG that I know that's talented like that and dope that align with you and that good energy,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll definitely be looking as well to push that as well.
Cool. Cool. Dope.
That'll be super cool. Shout out to the homie Brad Rock. He's on right now from North Carolina. He's a good brother and
Yo, Brad,
yeah, he's a good hip hop brother, man. Um, so so you said your first painting. Okay, so your first drawing obviously was when you were younger. When did you say to yourself, okay, I know I'm good at this, like naturally, like I'm gonna keep doing this and doing this? When did you feel when did you feel at that point where it's like, I'm taking this serious, where it's gonna be to the next level, and this is gonna be a part of my everyday life? What age
I
did you,
mean,
yeah, what age?
I mean, like as a kid, art to me was like my own way of escaping from this world. So I didn't realize what it meant to be taking it seriously because it was just who I was.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Until I realized maybe in the last 4 or 5 years that I can make a business out of it. Because I had other businesses before trying to start something, but it kind of fell. But then, when I realized, okay, cool, people are actually buying stuff. And it actually started out mainly when I started doing fundraisers when Puerto Rico had the hurricane.
Oh,
So I
that's
started
nice.
donating. I started donating my artwork to make some monies with some other people. Pinta por la Patria, that was in Grumpy Bird in Brooklyn. That was one that was done. And from that initial charge, pushed me now to take it more seriously because you can use your artwork and your talent and ability now to help others that are in more desperate need than yourself. So
Correct.
when you realize as an artist, as a poet, as a creator, and anything that you do that can help people, you know what I'm saying? Then that's when I realized, yo, it's about time to take this seriously because you're helping people now, but mainly you can't help nobody if you don't help yourself. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
once I saw that I can do that. I just said, let me just turn up a notch, little by little. You know what I'm saying? So I would say about maybe the last 4 or 5 years is when I turned it up a notch. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is now that we're talking.
Yeah, that's cool. And I like that you brought that up, So All right, so and I got it. This is another fun one because we're hip hop
Yeah.
heads. Obviously, you're a true hip hop head, and both Puerto Rican kids growing up listening to this music. We had parents, but to me also hip hop was an audio parent. That it was audio parents for
Yes,
us, you know.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
they were our audio parents, and they didn't
Yeah.
ground us. They didn't tell us when to go to bed. It was
No.
just that was the best part about it. Like these parents are pretty dope. It was
They
like
still let you live. They still let you live without a problem. You know what I'm saying?
exactly no chancletas, no matrix,
Nothing, nothing.
none of that. We know what we're talking about. But
Yeah.
that's the beauty of it, man. Hip hop, the soundscape of hip hop, and it's a memory. It takes you back to like you could have been on a street corner thinking about a painting that you were gonna do, listening to a Wu-Tang song. You could have been having dinner with your wife or partner somewhere listening to Common, or that's the beauty of hip hop. It's just a natural thing, and it's a time and a place of where your ears were at. You know what I mean? So it's just
Yeah,
cool.
it's like I could, hip hop for me is like my background music. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's like it's a mood for every mood you're in, no matter what day you're in. So whatever day you're feeling, whatever mood you're in, there's a certain artist that appeals to that feeling and that mood. You know what I'm saying? So, for me, growing up, I started listening, LL Cool J, you had Salt and Pepper, you had, Public Enemy, I had Black Sheep, you know what I'm saying? So this is those beginning artists that I used to listen to growing up, you know what I mean? And from there, it just like, leads in LONS, leader the new school, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying? And then from there, it just like, it brought you into another world that only people that know hip hop understand you, and everybody else will look at you kind of weird, like they
right.
don't get you. It's okay. You don't got to get me.
Yeah.
She gets me. That's okay. That's okay. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Shout out to
It's a
the
culture. It's a culture that at first we didn't think it was going to go that far because we are the culture. You know what I'm saying?
yes.
We're part of that. We're part of that culture.
Correct.
It being Hispanic Heritage Month, Boriqua has been in hip hop since the very beginning. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if anybody's watching that, you know what I'm saying? Do the knowledge because we've been there since the beginning and we're still here now.
Yes.
So it's mixed with a lot of Caribbean people as well, but we've been there as well. So, it's something we have rhythm, we got soul, and we got a lot to say. And we're very creative and we have a lot of art within ourselves as people. So the main thing is to give it out. So, yeah, man, like you said, they were, hip hop was like a parental guidance, you know what I'm saying, if you want to say it that way, because I kind of learned more from hip hop than from school. You're going to learn from school, but your school's only going to teach you a certain degree of history and mathematics and science, where hip hop will teach you about stuff that school omitted and censored. You know what I'm saying? And hip hop was non-censorship until they try to censor it, but then you find other ways to find it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And well said on that. Yeah, hip hop was very transparent to a T, and literally transparent, where they didn't hide anything. Hip hop didn't hide anything. And I think we were, as growing up in that era, we were advanced musically. I think we were advanced. As to now, it's like, okay, you don't go to the store, record store, and buy physically a
No.
copy of something. Like you said, all these streaming sites, it's oversaturated. It's like, okay, 8 albums came out in one morning, not even a day. It's like a morning. And how do I do this? How does my brain say, Jesus Christ, how am I going to listen to all 5 of these albums? I'm going to be like, yo, Bobbito, I'm going to send you one album so we could both soak it in for the whole day, just one, like it was back in
Yes.
the day, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
None of this 8 or 9 albums in one day. I just can't do it, man. And I know it's available, but I don't want to take that authenticity from it of listening to it, you know?
It's
So
just too much sometimes. Like it kind of loses the value of it. You know what I
it
mean? Like you had
does.
back in the days, you actually had to work for it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
you go to the actual studio. You actually have to go to the studio. Not like y'all send you a track through an email, just drop your verse and send it back to me, or they don't ever get to hook up and collab the same way. Which I don't take none away from technology, but I
Yeah.
think from our era, the lack of technology made it dope. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Absolutely.
I think I was talking to my lady the other day. Think about if we had phones like this in our era.
Oh, Lord.
Would
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying? Like
I
how
wouldn't
how
want
dope.
that. Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So think about the flip on that. How kids now are dealing with it comparison to if we were younger and we had all this. Like I said, the creativity and the imagination is what made us who we are today. And I think this little machine we're on right now, if you don't use it wisely, you're going to kill your creativity. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of other technology as well. So just because you can pop out 8 albums don't mean those albums are quality.
Right. It's all, yeah, because remember, it's always quality over quantity, right? It's always quality over quantity. Um, there's a person, I don't know if it's a woman, a gentleman or a gentlewoman who is Paz. He or she says they're loving our conversation. We appreciate you for that. Follow Bobbito Ross, follow Bobbito Ross and SlickBlast RapCast, and you'll stay in tuned with this lovely hip hop culture on the Latino side and universally.
No, definitely,
So,
definitely.
yes,
Appreciate
yeah,
it. If I don't comment on everybody there, because I'm focused with the gentleman right here. So
yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? If I don't comment, it's just because I'm just into the the interview right now. We're just conversing back and forth. You know what I'm saying? So I apologize, but
No,
I'm
yeah.
caught up in the movie. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's a beautiful thing, man. And if anybody has questions on the comments, they want to ask Bobbito, please feel free to, and I'm sure he'll be glad to ask.
Oh yeah, by all means, by all means.
Yeah. So I got to ask you this, my brother, because again,
Yeah.
boom bap heads and just we discuss Wu-Tang, we discuss Tribe. Black Sheep, which Drez of Black Sheep is half Puerto Rican, another guy, like another phenomenal MC. Who have you seen live that after you left the show, anybody that resonates or in your memory, whether you were young or currently or even a couple years before the crapdemic, as I call it, a memorable hip hop show or even a music show, anybody that you said to your girl like, damn, we were lucky to be a part of that event? Because
when Tramps was still in the Manhattan, got to see KRS-One, but then Common was there. Also, Black Thought came out, and kind of Black Thought stole the show from Common. You know what I'm saying? So Black Thought was Black Thought. You know what I'm saying? Black Thought's an MC on another level. You know what I'm saying? So when the Roots came out, he just dropped. He came out. So to see Black Thought in person was like, you know what I mean? Like a whole different. And even after that, when I was able to, as a young, like in high school, going to Rocksteady and go and see Rocksteady in the Bronx, seeing Destroy from the Arsonist before I got to actually befriend Destroy,
right,
I was like, damn, this is like the Latino version of, Wu-Tang for me. Not all of them were, but it was like, a lot as a whole.
The flavor, and the influence. Yeah.
So I remember seeing Destroy like kill that shit, B. Rhyming and reggae, all this other crazy shit. I'm like, damn, son, it's nice. Like, and then lo and behold, 360 now it's like, yo, we cool. So, to see that and to see, the people still be doing what they're doing and be timeless and ageless, it's crazy. But back to what you were saying initially, Black Thought, man. When I saw Black Thought and Tramps, he killed that shit. You know what I'm saying? And it was Common's night. Common brought Black Thought on, and I was like, you should not give him the mic. you should have kept that mic for yourself. So he did kind of couple of songs of his set, you know what I'm saying? But Common and Black Thought, you know what I mean?
Yeah, two hip hop legends, of course. So I think Black Thought, because Nas. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you this: who's your GOAT in hip hop? Because I know that word is tossed around like a Nerf ball. GOAT this, GOAT that. But who is genuinely your number one guy that you can say, okay, I could jam in the shower to him, I could jam in the car, throwing out the trash, buying comic books, going to buy food? Like, who is the guy that you would consider that your hero? Like the guy that just does it for you?
It's hard, B. It's hard.
I know.
The thing is, like,
I know.
It's hard, like, Nas is dope, but Nas picks trash beats. You know what I'm saying? So do I take away from his lyrical prowess? No, I don't. You know what I'm saying? There's so many other artists. You even got Thurston Howell III.
Yep.
Thurston is
the Puerto Rican.
Yeah, it was one of the albums I heard, and all his other Skilletary, Skillmatic. So it's hard to say, B. I don't do the GOAT thing because I think as an artist, everybody has their lane. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the people that they consider GOATs, to me, I don't think they're GOATs. You know what I mean? Because are you basing it off record sales? You know what I'm saying? Are you basing it off of them being on the underground? Because the underground and the mainstream is two different worlds. You know
of
what
course.
I'm saying? So you got people like Immortal Technique, You got cats like Breeze Brewing. You got, you know what I'm saying? You got Razkaz. You
Yep.
know, so there's just so many artists. So I, you know, to your question, you know, like Common was the dude for me at a moment. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But it's this there's just so many, man. I don't do the GOAT thing. To me, there's a lot of dope MCs. A lot, and
There you
there's
go.
MCs. I didn't say rappers now. There's a lot of dope MCs.
There's a difference. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you for
everybody
that.
can rap. And my mom can rap. When you sung to your mother, she can rap too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But MC on the stage is a big. There's a whole that your platform is different. Your whole level
Yes.
platform. Because MCing is like, for me, is like a superhero.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you
Yeah.
know, my Bobbito name is more of my brand name. You know, people know me as Laser. Laser is my, you know, you know, who I am. You
Okay.
get what I'm saying? So, you know, not that many people know. So when people call me Bobbito, it's cool, but that's the business.
Mm.
Like this is now people know me as Laser. That's how
Okay.
I go by. So,
Gotcha.
you know what I
Okay.
mean? So it's more like how you got Bruce, you got, you know, the Dark Knight, you got Batman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you got Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
Bruce Wayne is the rapper, Batman's the MC.
Yeah.
You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
that's how I see it. So there's a lot of dope artists, man. You know, Common was one, KRS one, Coogee Rap.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Back in the days, you used to listen to Main One, who was one, you know, Boriqua artist back in the days. You know, so it's
Chino
just been many.
XL. Chino
Yo,
XL.
Chino's the homie. Chino's the homie. You know what I'm saying? Chino's on a whole different stratosphere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I love his creativity, and I love him for being who he is as a person, as a human being. You know, so they, you know, like Chino's on some other shit. You know what I mean? You know, like so. There's just so many artists. You know what I mean? I appreciate them all because it gives me a discography of my life. Whenever I want to listen to something, I can just pull out and listen to them and appreciate them for who they are. It's like you giving me flowers now, I give all them flowers because without them, you know, it kind of, you know, helps you what you're doing in your day-to-day life as well. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, like hip hop, rap is something you do, hip hop is something you live. So, it's
Yes.
a big difference, like you said.
Big difference. Definitely
Yeah.
big difference.
All right. I do this question for every guest on, my brother. So I'm gonna swing you into this question and take your
Yeah.
time with it too. Um, Dead or alive, okay? Dead or alive, three people. It can be an MC, it could be a comic book artist, it could be an artist. Anybody that anybody in your head that you grew up to or admired, or anybody in your mind now, dead or alive, who are three people that you would work with if they called you this weekend and said, "Yo, Bobbito, Laser, let's work." You could take your time with it because I know sometimes you
And
want
it
to.
don't gotta be and it don't gotta be music, right?
Nope, it doesn't have to be music. It can be music. It can be arts, movies, comic book, you know, stuff like that.
Um, Say Pedro Ambizu Campo,
There you go.
Malcolm X,
Mm.
um, and let's go with Tito Puente.
Whoo.
So, you know, you got to bring different levels, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they're all people. They're all for the people. You know what I mean? The main thing
Yes.
is each of them had a resonating power, you know, and not a power to control, a power to uplift and to help people. You know what I mean? Those are just three, you know what I mean? There's many, but right there, that's very, oh, well, you know, you could say, you know, one more person, you know, like Fidel
Yeah.
Castro, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know, so it's a heavy team right there, B. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
with that team right there, you know, there's really nothing you can't do from that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the ability to go is limitless. There is no limit with that. You know what I mean?
Nice. And well, good answers, and they're all different. That's they all impacted somebody somehow, some way, right, in this life.
Yeah.
Um, as far as sports, man, because obviously hip hop resonates with sports as well, aside from comics, cartoons, Saturday morning cartoons. Are you a big sports head?
Growing up, I was, I grew up on, living in Queens. My team was the New York Mets.
Okay.
And I thank my dad for that. I come from the Darryl Strawberry, the Dwight Gooden,
Oh yeah.
Keith Fernandez era, Gary Carter, Mookie Wilson, so Lenny Dykstra,
Yes.
so that, man, and actually going to the game. I remember one of my memories was actually seeing Strawberry play for the first time as his rookie season. They gave out actual strawberries at the game. You know what I'm
What?
saying? Yeah, they gave out strawberries when you walked in. So, baseball, was the shit growing up as a kid. Then, basketball, it's a love and hate, but the New York Knicks, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's, gotta love them. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then, and football was the Giants. I come from Lawrence Taylor,
Phil
Leonard Marshall,
Sims.
you know what I'm saying? Phil Sims, McConkey, you know what I'm saying? Like football, you know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
watch it as much now because of the politics and all that other crazy shit nowadays. But as
Ah.
a but as a kid, it was all parallel. You know what I'm saying? Cartoon, music, sports, it all was something that, um, it made me who I am today, to be honest. I got in my room, not here, but I got autographed signatures of Dwight Gooden and Darryl Strawberry. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So I surround what I do with memories of my childhood, man. Like I told it from the very beginning, keep your childhood because that's going to actually reflect in how you go forward in life. And your reflection is what you have eternal. Reflection eternal. Talib Kweli. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
you know what I mean? Black Star. I mean, there's so many. Be like, but sports, yeah, definitely, man. John Starks, going back to that era. You know what I'm saying? So I'm that '90s kid. You know what I'm saying? Tracy Ogman and Shaq when they won college teams and everything. I
Yeah.
used to watch that. So, sports is key. But I used to play sports. Not only just watch it, you know what I mean? I used to play sports too. So it's one of those things, we come from an era we were not only watchers, we were doers. So we
Yes.
played actually what we did and we actually talked about it. We walked it. So that's a good thing about it. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope. What position did you play? I played football and basketball in high school. What position did you play?
For baseball, center field, because then your arm like Roberto Clemente. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Football, wide receiver. You know what I mean? And then basketball could be a point guard, strong guard. You know what I'm saying? It all depends on the team and the dynamics. You know what I'm saying? So I love competition, man. It's okay to lose. It has
Yeah.
no problem. You can lose. Somebody
Right.
has to lose. The
Yeah.
main thing is have fun. You know what I'm saying? It's only a game. And whatever you did not do that game, you put everything on the court. You just play the next day. You know what I'm saying? And actually kept your body good too as a form of exercise. And why most of us are still looking young in our age now because we actually did stuff that way that kept us in a good exercising in our health as we gotten older. You know what I'm saying?
Well said. Well said to that, man. Stay a kid inside, and that'll continue the longevity and youth, and continue to be happy. So that's what it's all
Yeah.
about.
Definitely.
Um, Another question I had, a hip hop question, because of course, we're hip hop heads, and this is the fun thing about it, man, because this is obviously hip hop based. Um, if Big L was alive, rest in peace, Lamont Coleman, Big L, one of my favorite MCs of all time.
Harlem will.
Harlem World, yeah. If Big L was alive right now, with Jay-Z's status as is, because remember, Big L, he was going to sign that contract to Rockefeller. I still,
Yeah.
s- I still say that Big L would have been bigger than Jay-Z, in my opinion. Not business-wise, but maybe obviously his skills and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
They wouldn't have been a Jay-Z.
okay, good. I like the answer. I like
You
the
know what I'm
answer.
saying? Like a lot of artists who no longer are with us today, may they all rest in power.
Yes.
A lot of these people that are out now will not be where they're at now. You get what I'm saying? So, it's sad at the same time, you know what I'm saying? But to your question, I guess that's where you was going at. Nah, they would have been a Jay-Z. You know what I mean? He wouldn't have had lyrically put together, you know what I'm saying? Like to me, for me personally, Jay's dopest album was Reasonable Doubt.
Mm,
I couldn't relate to anything after that. You know what I'm
mm.
saying? So it's just not that the music is not me, it's not relatable. So if I can't really relate to what you're saying and what you're doing, I'm not going to take away from your craft, but it's not something I can relate to. You get what I mean?
Okay.
But Big L would have been big. That's why he's Big L. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But, you know, Lamont, you know, did his thing when he could. You know, at least we still got, you know, remnants and pieces of him still. So that's a great piece. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I like the answer because I agree with you 100%. So when you said that, it clicked right away. So that's cool that we agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another thing, man. There's some guys that I'm checking for because we talked about our influences and staying a kid, and then even with the music, kind of staying in that lane. We're open-minded, obviously, and universal, but there's certain groups that appeal to us, right?
Yeah.
Versus
Yeah.
versus newer guys that are like, I don't know what he's saying. I don't know if that connects with me. I'll give him a chance, but there's an MC in New York, and I know you know him. Young guy. He's Marlon Craft. I think he's dope, man. I think he's a student of the culture because he's lyrical, the production, and he's a Knicks fan. He's a big Knicks guy. He's a New York kid. So Marlon Craft.
Now, I mean, you know, the main thing, you know, you got to big up the young generation who's doing it. You know, as long as they, you know, pay homage to you know, the pioneers who actually did it. And you learn it's a craft, it's an art form. Hip hop is just not something you can just do, be like we just talked about earlier.
Yeah.
You know, we come from an era that we respect skills. You know what I mean? Skills is what kept you, you know, like your name had to mean something. Nobody can have the same type of name. Your flow could be like the next person, the next man or woman. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Your originality. So like you will get checked. Nowadays, people don't get checked. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. Everybody lets a lot of sucker shit fly. And, you know, when you have too much of that, it consumes the actual, you know, what's mainstream. But, you
Oh
know,
my
it's good
God.
to know that the underground is still the underground. There's a lot of great music out there. You just have to go out there and find it. You know what I'm saying? Like the young man you just talked about now. You know what I'm saying? Like even from Jersey, you got CF and you got Don Teak. You know what I mean? They got Ghost Lineage. Those are some two dope ass artists. You know what I mean? They've been doing their thing. A lot of people, you know, I support the brothers, you know what I mean, and what they
Yeah.
do. So there's a lot of people out there, you know, like a young boy, Key Bahudi. He's from Jersey too. You know, Key's dope too. Then that's the younger generation coming up. So
Okay.
the main thing, you know, bridging the gap between those worlds because, you know, once again, you got to pass the torch off. You know what I mean? And the main thing is make sure you pass off the torch to the right runners, because if not, you're gonna have this shit running in all different places, man, and that's not good. You know what I'm saying? But
That's
in anything in life, there is evolution and there's elevation, but it has to go through a cycle. Just like hip hop in our era went through a cycle of certain things, it's also going to keep going through a cycle now. You know, that's called growth. You know what I'm saying? And as long as people stay true to the form of it, it'll still be here. You know what I mean?
correct. Absolutely. And in your area where you stay by, have you seen because you know in New York I feel like it's like Puerto Rico in a sense. There's MCs that live in specific areas probably that you stumbled upon. Was there anybody that you bumped into recently? Any MCs while you were walking or just going about your day? Because I know in New York, it's different towns and boroughs, but it's somehow connected in a sense.
Yeah, New York. I mean, Queens exactly is like it's like a big melting pot. But before Queen, like I lived in Queens for a bit, like I say up to like in my 20s. Then I lived in Brooklyn for a little bit. Lived in East New York. You know, I would bump into Master Killa, Cormega. I got in
Wow.
touch with, you know, perverted monks,
Mm,
uh, Afu-Ra, you know, respect the God, Kasi the Aqua Monk. You know what I'm
wow.
saying? So, and those are cats that, you know, I only throw their names out because I saw them on a regular basis. It wasn't because of music. I met them through one of the brothers, Kasi Aquamonk, when we used to wash clothes in the same building. I didn't know who he
Wow.
was. He was just a cool brother. He washed clothes. And then Respect the God from Perverted Monks, you know, he was like, yo, you know who Son is? And I'm like, and then two and two make four. You know what I'm saying? And the next thing you know, and I'm chilling next to Afu-Ra, chilling with him, just talking shit. And we just
Wow.
collaborated on some artwork for his album a while ago that he did. Well, he plugged me to Planet Asia and for
Ooh.
Cali Agents that they did
Yes.
in Switzerland. So I did a cover for them back when they were doing a show, Cali Agents, you know. So I mean, in Brooklyn, I bumped into way more people. That's how I met Thurston Howell the third. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? In Queens, nah. In Queens, I met, you know, UFO Feeve. That's the homie. you know what I'm saying? Red Inf, you know what I'm saying? But like in Brooklyn is where I met my most interaction with actual MCs. But I met them on a, you know, like, you know, Vicino, like neighbors type of shit, like what up, what up? And then we didn't get caught up in the music, and then it was like, oh, word, you do that? Well, I used to listen to you. I got your CD upstairs, and we became cool peoples, you know what I mean? And it's the love of it more than anything else as human beings, and then it actually jumped to music afterwards, you know what I'm saying? So that's the coolest thing.
That's super dope, man. Afu-Ra, I've always admired him from
Oh,
afar.
he's cool, man. Afu was mad cool, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I'll tell you something a lot of people don't know. I dibble in music as well. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? So the art is something that has gotten me to focus on business more. You get what I'm saying? As being an actual, you know, MC or producer or beat producer, you know,
yeah,
beat maker and producer, two different things.
right.
Let's not get that shit misconstrued. You know, and I got that information from PF Cutting. You know what
Mm,
I'm saying? PF Cutting's a homie too. So, you know, and these are people that I met genuinely through other people genuinely. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? You know, so I focus more on doing my artwork now, which down the line can transition into me doing music. But right now I have to go with the bread and butters at. You get what I'm saying?
yep,
The supply and demand is my art, and music is always going to be me because you can hear it in how I speak. You know what I'm saying? Like I
yeah.
don't know why a lot of people don't get it. Like, damn, you sound like you. Yeah, you know, if you, once you start talking more, you can pick it up. You know what I mean?
Right. And it's a part of influence. And I mean, and that's hip hop. Hip hop is everyday life, man. It's not just, it's not a casual
Yeah,
thing. So, gentlemen like ourselves, we take this culture very seriously, and we try to purvey it as much as possible, right? Uh,
definitely.
yeah, because when I hear people like, I went to the mall with my wife about a week ago just to get something to eat, in and out, in and out safely. But I heard a kid say, yeah, I listen to rap, but it's all right. And I'm just like, that's rap. There's a difference. And it's like, again, I wish I could have sat him down and I could have been that book and said, look, man, this
Yeah.
is what the essence of hip hop is. This is where it started. He probably would have been like, oh, look at this viejito trying to talk to me and stuff like that. Get out of here with get out of here with that noise. But again,
Yeah.
I just like to do those kind of things. I like to uplift younger people like that and educate them, right? Whatever we know, try to pass it on to them somehow, some way. Some appreciate it and some don't. So all we can do is hope for the best, swing for the fences, if you will.
Yeah, the main thing is, you know, be the example yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I can't worry about what the next man or woman does. I can focus on what I can do.
Right.
And my purpose is my passion. My passion is my purpose. So the main thing is, you know, putting that forward and never forgetting the true essence of why I'm here. You know what I mean? So everything that I put out, man, I make sure I put 110% of my heart into it. So, you know, even when I'm not here, man, it still has its place and it shows people that, you know what I'm saying? So it's timeless. And hip hop is timeless, like any other genre, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying, of music. So in hip hop in itself, we're talking now, it's something that people never thought would be what it is. You know what I'm saying? The shit became worldwide, it's global. It's pretty much the number one marketing tool of music that people use to sell things. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It brings a lot of races and ethnicities together that if it wasn't for the music, they still don't like each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yep.
like saying it kind of like bridged a gap that always had like a little collapsed section and actually made it, you know, walkable. You know what I mean? So, you know,
Right.
it's definitely a powerful tool, and it's definitely something that, you know, came that to help a lot of people out, which some understand it, some won't, but it's okay. You know, like the young man you was talking about, you know, he just don't got the right elders or the right peers around him to point him in the right direction.
Right.
So until you keep walking that same direction, you're gonna be lost until somebody wakes you up, unless you wake yourself up. You know what I mean?
Right. You're going to be stuck in the matrix, man. Somebody's going to pull you out. So.
You better take that right pill. If not, you stuck in the rabbit hole for a long time, baby.
Oh man. And Morpheus ain't gonna save you because
No, not in the new one either.
not in the
So,
new
you
one because he ain't in
know.
it. Oh man, that's so funny. Um,
Yeah.
so I wanted to ask you, man, out of curiosity, have you
Yeah, what's
ever
up?
have you ever had requests from like fans or just people that wanted like a shirt, for example, you made a T-shirt and let's say me, for instance, yo, man, this MC that I've always liked, or this duo I've always liked for a long time. You ever get requests from people where they have you customize a shirt for them, or was it mostly just having your merch set where it's like you're just selling it like that? Have you ever had requests for customization in terms of shirts and stuff like that?
Yeah, our German homeboy Ali. That's how I met Ali.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
there you
Ali,
go.
Ali wanted Woo Germany. So it
Mm.
was one of those things where he has a shirt, a few shirts. He actually even has the football team out there. You know, five. I don't want to say the name because I'm gonna probably say this shit wrong. But the football team out there in Germany, you know what I'm saying? I designed one for him too. So he has a few pieces of stuff. But to your question, yes, I take commission jobs and all that good shit. Because, you know, I can direct my art, but sometimes people might have something specific. So if you check my page, there's a couple of pieces that I've done, especially the Woo stuff that are plaques. Those are actually commission jobs that I did for people. The
Wow.
first one I did, which was like the Woo with the Taino sun, you know, the petroglyph, that was something that you know what I'm saying? I was commission job. The one with the samurai, that was something I just did off the top. But that actually opened up the books where somebody wanted the Shaolin one and somebody else wanted this. So I actually did the Snoopy version, the Peanuts version.
Yeah.
And those are actually commission jobs. So there are some pieces, you know, to your question, yes, I do them. And there are some scattered throughout my page that you'll see that are actually commission jobs. So I'm open, you know, I always tell people, let me hear what you got to say. And if I can bring it to life, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? I'll make it happen.
That sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good because I have some ideas in mind. And that's one thing with me, man. I like to support different artists to balance it out, like a spreadsheet of love and balance. So I'll definitely, when I'm ready, I'll definitely reach out to you because I have a couple of ideas in mind visually, and then I could send it to you, and then you could bring it to life, and that'll be a beautiful thing. So I love the Wu-Tang button, by the way. It had the samurai flavor, the Wu-Tang yellow button, is it? It's the big one.
Oh, yeah, you talk about the Wu Yasuke. So I actually
I like that.
did the Afro Samurai for somebody on the Wu one. So what happened was there is an actual black samurai called Yasuke. So I wanted to incorporate my version of the Afro Samurai. So what happens is when sometimes I get collaborations, people give me the idea and I just go, they say, yo, I trust what you're doing. You just take it you just do Bobbito to it. And so what happened was I did the piece, it came out, he loved it, but I still wanted to give it to people as well. So I then interpreted it and put it into an actual enamel pin. And, you know, I still got the enamel pins on the website, you know what I'm saying? But that actually is an enamel pin. So it's like mixing, you know, keep in mind, you know, focusing still on the African black culture as well.
Right.
Keeping that prominent and also that, but inspiration. And then I took it to t-shirts, to pillows, to, you know, that's one thing about us Boricuas. There's none we won't put our name on, you know what I mean?
Right.
So when it comes to artwork or anything that your mind can see it as unlimited. You can be limitless, you know, infinite potential, you know, like J. Rita Damager.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying? You know, so just have infinite potential in what you do. And, you know, so that actually started as a piece and actually went to enamel pin afterwards. So most of my pieces start like that, man. Like this shirt here in particular, right?
Yeah.
That was just a screensaver of me saying I love Wu-Tang and I love Puerto Rico. Boom.
There
That's
you
it.
go.
Anybody wants to know how it happened? Wu-Tang, Puerto Rico, bow.
There
And
you
then
go.
some people ask me, yo, can I get that on a shirt? I'm like, all right, that's it.
Yeah.
That's how it started. And
Man.
it went from more people wanting their country as well as representation. Because some people, you know, like, hey, I listen to Wu-Tang too. Can you put my stuff on? I like, by all means, you know what I'm saying? So it just started off as something that I love, two things that I love, and then just merging them together. And then, you know, the people, it resonated with the people. And then I was like, all right, cool. And I started running with different other designs. You know what I'm saying? I got two designs that I'll show you that I've been working on before we go down the line. But the one I did recently was with Raekwon, Radiology. You know what I'm saying? That was just something I just did off the top. Like I saw, like, you know, people ask me where my inspiration comes from. Sometimes I don't know. It just comes, B. And, you know, you just hear that voice and you just got to knock shit out. And sometimes it's just getting it out of here to there. And once it's out, then it's gone on to the next project, on to the next project. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because when your creative juices start flowing, you start building momentum off of those juices, and then you create a nice little expressway, and you keep going and going and going. It's like a toll booth. Like you're passing all the toll booths up, and you're killing it. You're making 3 or 4 things in one day, and it's like, oh my God, it's amazing, you know?
One thing you got to, and that's one thing that's different from our era. This era, you have to drop mad shit. You gotta,
Yeah.
you got to, and just make sure it's quality. So what I'm getting at is anything that I drop shirt wise or piece of artwork, I would wear it myself. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I would wear it, other people would wear it too, because I'm not going to drop anything I don't consider 100%, top quality. I'm not going to give you half-ass work. So if I would wear it, that's my way of basically authenticizing it to say, yo, here, it's official. You know what I mean? I'm not going to put anything out there just to make a quick buck, because that's not who I am. At the end of the day, it's, your quality over quantity.
Absolutely.
Yep. Your quality reigns supreme. Like, so, a lot of people, I'm not a one-trick pony. You know what I'm saying? I'm a graffiti writer too. There's a lot of stuff people haven't seen that I do. You know what I'm saying? So,
Nice.
you'll see things that I'm branching out to, because, you have to just take things little by little. And then once you're like a tree, you got to keep your roots. And then you got your trunk. And then once you get your trunk, you got your branches. And then once your branches start to grow, you got your leaves. And each leaf is a different level of plateau for me to go. As long as I got that sun that wakes me up in the morning,
Yep.
this tree is going, baby. You know what I'm saying? So I got way more in store coming, man. So the main thing I just tell people, I appreciate always the support, the love. It's been tremendous. I'm a kid that started from Queens. I started with like Bobbito's page when I met my lady. It was like 500 people following me.
Right.
I just reached 12,000, you know what I mean, in a matter of a couple of years, you know what I'm saying? So, I appreciate that, because,
Yeah.
the shit ain't easy. It ain't easy, man. This
It's
is my
not.
bread and butter. This is what I do. I don't got no other 9-to-5 job. This is my career. You know what I'm saying? This career launches off other careers, but the main thing about this career is dope about it. It makes other people like myself believers when they thought they couldn't believe.
Yeah.
And now they can do something that they want to do as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know what? Obviously, you're an inspiration to a lot of the Latino young guys as well that want to be artists like yourself with the beautiful paint and the artwork and putting it to life. So you're an example of that. You're a growing example of, like you said, there's no 9-to-5. It's you on the grind, and your passion is speaking for itself. And I admire that. So yeah, salute to you for doing this, and continue to do this and be great, because again, man, I think this is important that Latinos like us, we shine, we shine as stars, just shine overall, and nobody can stop us. That's the best part about it. Creativity can never be interrupted or broken. It's just a constant movement and motion of our everyday selves. So
it's an eternal flow, like company flow. You know what I'm saying?
there we go. You see the references back and forth.
It's a company flow. You know what I mean? Like Trez and back in the days. But that's how I grew up. You know what I mean? With stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And the main thing is always meeting like-minded individuals that you can build with, and you can just reciprocate the energy, because energy is forever. You know what I'm saying? We all energy. We all electricity. This is just a temporary construct of me. Like, this is not real. This is just temporary.
Right.
But what I do and what I influence, and who I aspire to inspire others to become who they are supposed to be.
Yes.
That's the main thing. Do not get caught on what you are, because you can always become something else if you constantly build, and educate and want to learn and practice and work at it. I'm constantly working every day, and some days I'm not working hard enough that I got to push myself, man. So the main thing is, when people think, yo, you're doing a lot, I'm like, shit, I ain't even doing nowhere near as what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
So if people think what I'm doing is a lot, wait until I kick it to that next gear up. You know what I'm saying? Yep.
Then people are gonna have to catch up with you when you're in that next gear. So
hey, the main thing is I'm a pathfinder, not a trendsetter. There's a big difference. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Let me find a new path for us to actually go on. And then, everybody each now can. Let me kick the door down for y'all. So you ain't got to worry about the door no more. Just worry about now, once you're in there, there's no more worries. Now build your own, your own enterprise. And the main thing is build some generational wealth. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And build that for your kids, kids, and learn about nepotism. That's not a bad word. Hire some people you know in your family that could actually do the job.
Yes.
And stop co-signing people that can't do the job. Because that's why, a lot of people like, I'm gonna hire my boy, I'm gonna hire my girl, but they can't do what they do. So now you backwards hustling instead of forward hustling.
Yep.
I do what I do by myself. I got my lady that helps me out. She drops some pointers. My mom, she'll drop me some pointers. But my team is like maybe a handful, B.
Yep.
That's it, man.
That's
And
that's it.
sometimes you just need the solitude, and you just need a strong team, and you got to make sure you stand, firm on your own square as a person, and give out love, man, and it'll be reciprocated back because people can feel it and it resonates. Like even this conversation when having, people can feel it. It's not this ain't make believe. I didn't come here with a script. You have questions, but you still just being yourself. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
the main thing is stay genuine in what you do. And once you stay genuine, people are gonna feel it. And that's why, my success is being who I am. And the stars are my fans, not even fans, right? The stars of everybody that bought something for me, that has a comment, or that took time, because I put them right back on the page.
Right.
The stars are my everyday people, not me. I'm just playing my part. My part is small, like a chain link fence, and everybody else that's helping out this fence is a star. I'm just doing what I can do. You know what I'm saying?
I love it, man. It's beautiful and it's inspirational. And again, man, all right, so before we head out, man, this has been a great conversation.
Yeah.
Never an interview, my brother, and of course you and I, we had good combos before this happened this evening, and it's a great connection, and I love it. So anybody that you want to shout out before we head out of this episode, anybody special in your life that you want to shout out, or anybody that you're thinking about right now that you want to shout out and say, hey, I'm thinking about you.
I took a little list. I took a little list of some people.
Go for it, man. Hey,
I gotta come prepared. You know what I mean? Definitely check out Agents of Reform by
Okay.
Rhinoceros Funk and Yazid. Definitely check out The Leftovers. They have an album out called Engraved in New York. Those are my brothers. Salute to them. They know who they are. You know what I'm saying? Definitely check out, Breeze Bruin's album, Hindsight. That's a dope album.
Legend.
You know what I'm saying? And definitely, it's not hard to show nobody love. I always show love the Bobbito way. So I ask everybody to challenge yourself. Like anybody watching this, show somebody love on your page.
Yeah.
It doesn't take that much, maybe a couple of seconds to show somebody love, man. Whether you know them and they cool with you, help their business out, you know what I'm saying? Push them going forward. Because, as an example, I do that every day. Most of the people on my page, I might not know them like that, but I know them virtually.
Right.
But I know once we meet in the physical, it's peace. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cosmic Force out there in California, the brothers out there, Jaguar, you know what I'm saying? He know what's up. Shout out to everybody doing what they're doing and pushing the culture, forward. And mainly doing what you do to help your family, man. That's the key. Yo, we live in a very Twilight Zone era right now, man.
Oh, yeah.
If it hasn't taught you anything, at least come out this, learning something that you could push yourself forward and, build and mainly hold tight with your family. Because anybody that been building with you the last few years, 2 years or so, doing this whole, pandemic, everything, whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? You get to now sift out who's who and who's not who. You know what I'm saying? And, read a book, learn something, learn how to, garden, learn how to grow food, learn how to do a new business, read a new book. You know what I mean? I'm going to be doing that down the line, getting people to read more, because I think that's a problem. People think that they know everything. And at the end of the day, the more you learn, the more you don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Also, shameless plug for myself. Go to www.bobbitoross.com. I'm constantly dropping stuff every day. I might not promote it all on the page because sometimes I like the page to be showcased, and actually each individual like yourself is a star. Without you, I'm this local. So with everybody else, from Ali and everybody else that I've sold stuff to, they helped me become global. You get what I'm saying? So I appreciate that, and I appreciate all the love. And two of my favorite artists that I didn't tell you is actually Inspector Deck and Redman. You know what I'm saying? Those are like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I always like the underdogs and, Reggie and Inspect, you know what I mean? Those are like two of the dopest MCs for me, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you and I appreciate what you do. and everything that you actually help a lot, you know, and what you're doing, pushing the culture forward. You know, and the main thing is, give love and show love to Bobbito is all I really care about, man. Say positive, because a lot of people, when they say that, they're really thinking negative. To just be positive in what you do. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. I love that you said inspect the deck because, man,
Yeah, deck is deck, baby.
that's my dude.
Hold on. Can you hold on 1 second? Hold on 1 second.
Of course, yeah. You got it, my brother. The Barkin nostalgic hanging with Bobbito Ross, the Boriqua, two Boriquas aligned, and connection is beautiful. So this is what it's all about, supporting each other. Like he said, it's true.
Right, so when I say support, you gotta support Inspect the Deck.
Boom.
Right? You actually from Inspect the Deck. You know what I mean? Like you support the homies.
Yeah.
And when I say you support Red Man, you support Red Man. You get the Richmond jumper. You know what I'm saying? So, like, and I ain't a rich dude, B. Mentally rich, spiritually rich, monetary wise, I will get that. That's not a problem. But the main thing is, give the flowers to the ones who deserve it while they're here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And don't wait till they're not here no more, because we live in a wicked world where people love you when you're no longer here.
Yeah.
And your album sales go up, and they start buying your artwork, and get to know people while they're here. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the whole point. That's the whole joy of it. You know what I'm saying? Give everybody the love they deserve while they're here. So I appreciate you, and I give you your flowers, brother, because you helped me get me where I'm at, and I thank you for you. You know what I'm saying? So keep doing what you're doing and drawing up that vibration of positivity, and much love. And I always say Kevlar love, because it's bulletproof. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't understand that. When Kevlar love, for me, it's bulletproof. And, support everybody, because supporting one another is vital to our existence as people, and especially Latinos. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to build regardless of the negativity and everything else, but it starts as the individuals that connect this whole thing together. You know what I mean?
Well said, my brother.
You know what I think Destroys in the building? So shout out to D. D's, if anybody don't know, Show Off Your Gems. That brother been killing it. You know what I mean? And he's a positive torch for me. Like I said, going back to Rocksteady, and having the opportunity to actually get to know who he is, bump into him maybe one time, but the gentleman definitely inspires me to do what I do as well.
Yes.
So shout out to D, and, Show Off Your Gems, and, you already know the gem heads out there.
Yep.
So shout out to everybody. Arsonists, without Arsonists, shout out to Jice One, shout out to, Chain Rock, and Swell, everybody on the, the Arsonist team. So, but much love, man, much love.
Absolutely. Well said. Yeah. Shout out to the homie Destroy. He just popped up, and we appreciate you for doing that, man. Much love to you. As Bobbito elaborated, a great human being indeed, and all the gem heads and just all the hip hop heads just chiming in with us. We appreciate this. So, man,
I appreciate everybody. I don't want to cut you off, but anybody who chimed in, I thank y'all for chiming in.
Yes.
You know, much love to everybody there, down here below.
Yes.
Keep doing what you're doing. Hold your family tight. Just wanted to shout y'all out. You know what I'm saying?
I love the energy, my brother. One more thing before we dip out. I've been doing this series. It's almost like Disney's What If or Marvel's What If. So I'm already 11 segments in. It's basically called Mix and Match. So I think you would be good for this. I'm trying to mix and match different people on the show. It's basically your dream scenarios in hip hop. So, for example, Black Thought and Luther Vandross.
Got you.
Produced by Prince, or or MC Hammer when he wasn't dancing, when he was the funky head hunter, and Vanilla Ice, produced by Primo. So I would like to invite you for the next Mix and Match segment. If you have time, I'll let you know when. It'll be dope, man, just to get everybody's perspective. I asked the home Destroy at some point to be on as well, all the gym heads. So when you have time, man, definitely be on the panel. Mix and match.
Yeah, just shout me out. You know how we do. You know what I'm saying? The first time I wasn't able to, but when you hit me up again, you know what I mean? I didn't wait. I didn't hesitate. I see, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Let's just do it. You know what I'm saying? So you send me the time, you send me the date, I'll be in there. You know what I mean? And I appreciate the love, man. I appreciate anybody that takes time and with other people, appreciate them, because they didn't have to. They could have went to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So thank you. Thank you. You know what I mean?
Thank you, my brother. And a pleasure to have you on. And God bless you, your family. and keep doing great things, man. I'm a fan, and I'm gonna stay a fan. So again, I'm gonna say, speaking of which, when we get off,
Yeah.
and I archive this, I'm gonna send you the idea that I had, so maybe you can make it into a shirt. But you're gonna like it. It's a part of our childhood. I'll just leave it at that, and we'll surprise everybody.
I just send it my way and we chop it up from there. You know what I'm saying?
All right, brother. Hey, have a blessed night. All right, man.
Yo, much love to your family. Have a safe one. Tell your mom, thank you, cuídase. You know what I'm saying? Gracias por tu apoyo en tu amor también. Y buenas tardes todo.
Yes, yes. God bless, brother.
Peace.
Peace.